Welcome to Parody Comics Universe, where superheroes trade their capes for everyday struggles. Today we'll show you the funniest side of your favorite heroes. Sit back, relax, and get ready to laugh, because even legends have ordinary problems. First, Batman vs. Electricity Bill.
In Gotham City, a weary Bruce Wayne died. Not because of arch-nemeses like the Joker or the Riddler, but because of a far more serious problem, the electricity bill. The Batcave, with all its computers, lights, and advanced machinery, consumed energy like a starving man eats cake. "Alfred, you know, the price of electricity in Gotham these days," Bruce said, staring at his Bat financial report. "Do we really need 12 projectors for the Bat signal?" Alfred, with a slight smile, served a cup of tea. "Sir, I suggest we turn off one of the air conditioners in the Batmobile. After all, you rarely use it for racing, do you?" That night, Batman went out in the Batmobile, but instead of the roar of an engine, there was only the sound of squeaking from a bicycle. Yes, a Bat bicycle, complete with a Bat logo and dynamo-powered headlights. Batman pedaled with great effort, his cape flapping behind him. Suddenly, the Bat signal appeared in the sky. "Alfred, activate the turbo!" Batman whispered into his microphone. "I'm sorry, sir," Alfred replied. "The dynamo isn't that fast." When Batman arrived at the scene, a bank was being robbed by the Penguin. The robbers were surprised to see Batman. Not because they were afraid, but because they saw Batman wearing a bicycle helmet. "You think that's funny?" Penguin shouted. "On a bike, Batman?" Batman didn't answer. He just turned on the bicycle's siren, which sounded like a duck's quack, then threw a batarang that was actually a toy frisbee. The robbers burst out laughing. Suddenly, Batman's Bat bicycle made a ping sound from its bell. It turned out he had a message from Alfred. "Sir, don't forget to buy eggs and bread for breakfast tomorrow." "There's a discount at the supermarket." Batman shook his head. "Life is hard even for a superhero," he muttered. "But at least I'm saving electricity."
Second, Superman the Super Saver.
Clark Kent sat at his desk at the Daily Planet, carefully studying a coupon in his hand. He wasn't thinking about villains or disasters, but about how to save $10 on cereal at the supermarket. Suddenly, a siren wailed outside. Clark sighed. It must be it. It's 5 p.m., time for the routine bank robbery. He stood up and looked around. There were no telephone booths. They had all been replaced with mobile phone charging stations. Darn, those telephone booths were so useful, he muttered. He ran to the corner of the room and behind a large office palm plant, quickly took off his clothes. Instead of a Superman costume, he pulled out a faded Superman t-shirt and some long pants from his backpack. This outfit only cost $5 at the thrift store, he thought. And I don't need a cape. It's just an unnecessary extra. Superman, in his ill-fitting shirt and pants, flew out the window. Instead of flying at super speed, he flew at a rather slow pace. He knew that going too fast would use more energy. He arrived at the bank where a group of criminals were threatening the tellers. One of the criminals brandished a gun. Superman flew down and landed gently. "Hello," he greeted them. "Please put your weapons down." The criminal frowned. "Superman? What's with your outfit? And why are you flying so slowly?" "This is a comfortable outfit," Superman replied. "And I don't want to waste energy, so I fly at an efficient speed. Besides, I'm not a magician." Superman stepped forward. The criminal fired his gun, but the bullet just bounced off his t-shirt-clad chest. Superman picked up the bullet from the floor. "Ammunition is expensive," he said, examining the bullet. "You should try buying used bullets. Or better yet, reusable ammunition." The criminals looked at each other, confused. One of them tried to run away, but Superman stopped him by placing a hand on his shoulder. Hey, don't run," Superman said. "Sudden movements constrain your muscles." In the end, the criminals surrendered not out of fear, but because they felt so awkward. Superman tied them up with a rope he found behind the bank. "Saves rope, saves time," he said. As he flew back to the Daily Planet, he made sure to fly past the supermarket. He didn't want to miss the chance to use his discount coupon.
Third, Spider-Man vs. the Laundry Monster.
Peter Parker stared at the towering pile of laundry in the corner. He'd fought aliens, masked villains, even a giant sand monster. But this was worse. "This time, I'll be productive," he muttered, tossing his red and blue suit into the washer along with t-shirts, jeans, and, just in time, his mask. His phone buzzed. MJ texted, "Don't forget the delicates." Peter smiled. Delicates saved. Hero saved. Relationship saved. The washer beeped. Its tone sounded mocking. Load detected. Cycle. Overconfident. Peter squinted. Did you just roast me? The machine began to shake violently. Suds swelled and twisted, forming a hulking figure made of damp clothes. I am Static Cling, it roared. Peter sighed. Finally, a villain even the Avengers wouldn't bother with. The monster dripped across the floor. Give me all your socks. Fine. I never know where the other ones go anyway. And your mask! Whoa! Personal space! Before Peter could react, Aunt May's voice called from the kitchen. Peter, want me to start the dryer? Don't, too late. The dryer whirred to life. Brother, the monster growled. Together, we are Spinfinity. Peter grabbed his ultimate weapon, a lavender dryer sheet. The scent hit. The monster shrieked. No calming fragrance destroys my rage! It collapsed into a soggy heap. Cycle complete, wrinkle-free anxiety. Peter looked at his shrunken suit. MJ peeked in. Looks tighter than usual. Peter shrugged. Aerodynamic humility.
4. Superman vs. the Needle. Clark Kent adjusted his glasses nervously as he sat on the crinkling paper of the examination bed. The nurse smiled warmly, wheeling in a tray that gleamed with syringes. Just a routine shot, Mr. Kent. Nothing to worry about. Clark forced a laugh. Of course, easy. Totally fine. His palms began to sweat. The nurse tapped the needle against his arm. Snap, the metal bent like a paperclip. She frowned. Must be defective. Let me grab the bigger one. Clark's heart sank. Be bigger? His voice cracked. The second needle snapped even faster. By the time she tried the third, Clark had discreetly shifted further up the bed, muttering excuses. You know, I think I already had that shot last year. Or was it on Krypton? The nurse raised an eyebrow. Krypton, before he could cover his slip, the doctor walked in. Clark Kent, let's do a full checkup. He pulled out a stethoscope and pressed it to Clark's chest. The moment it touched, the earpieces sparked and smoked. The doctor jumped back. Good heavens, son, do you have lightning in there? Clark chuckled awkwardly. Just strong lungs. The thermometer shattered. The blood pressure cuff burst. Within minutes, the room looked like a war zone of broken medical equipment. Nurses huddled in confusion, whispering about the unkillable farm boy from Kansas. Meanwhile, Clark sat hunched in the corner, red cape peeking from under his shirt, whispering to himself, I can face Zod. I can face Doomsday Dot, but not another needle. The doctor scribbled something on his chart, shaking his head. Diagnosis, extreme needle phobia. Clark sighed in relief. Finally, a weakness he could admit to. 5th, Ironman vs. Cough Addiction. Tony Stark stood in front of his espresso machine like a night before a sacred relic. The chrome gleamed, steam hissed, and the faint aroma of roasted beans filled his lab. His eyes narrowed in reverence. Morning fuel, he whispered, sliding an oversized mug under the nozzle. The mug, naturally Reed genius, billionaire philanthropist, caffeine addict. The first sip hit his bloodstream, and he let out a satisfied sigh. Innovation in liquid form, sir. Jarvis interrupted, his calm British tone filling the room. This is your 5th cup today. At this rate, your bloodstream may soon be classified as espresso. Tony scoffed. Correction, this is engineering fuel. You don't build world-saving armor on carrot juice, Jarvis. By noon, the lab resembled a caffeine crime scene. Empty cups stacked like trophies, brown rings staining blueprints. Tony's fingers shook as he soldered a microchip into the Ironman gauntlet. His pupils were wide, his grin unhinged. Then his jittery hand slipped. BZZZT. Sparks erupted. The helmet snapped shut on his head with a loud clang. Jarvis, emergency extraction. Tony's voice came out muffled. Perhaps, Jarvis replied dryly, this would not have happened if you had adhered to a reasonable caffeine intake. Not now, mother. Tony banged his head on the table, stumbling around the workshop blind, knocking over beakers and sending bolts scattering across the floor. The espresso machine gurgled ominously in the corner, like it was mocking him. Pepper Potts stormed in. She froze at the sight, Tony flailing in full armor, tripping over wires, helmet clamped shut like a bear trap. Tony, what on earth? Her eyes narrowed at the battlefield of coffee cups. How many today? Tony paused, straightened, and tried to act dignified despite looking like a caffeinated robot. Define many. Pepper crossed her arms. Out of the suit now. The helmet hissed open reluctantly. Tony's hair shot in all directions, like he'd been electrocuted by his own espresso machine. He gave a sheepish smile. I can stop anytime I want. Pepper said flatly, grabbing a cup off the table. This says decaf. You couldn't even pretend. Tony snatched it back. It's psychological comfort. Pepper sighed, you're addicted. Tony gasped dramatically. Addicted, I'm committed. There's a difference, Jarvis chimed in again. Statistically, sir, you are indeed addicted. Traitor, Tony muttered. Pepper shook her head. No more coffee today. She walked out, heels clicking like a final judgment. Tony waited until the door closed, then whispered conspiratorially, Jarvis, brew me a decaf. She never know. The espresso machine hissed triumphantly, steam rising like a victory flag. For a moment, Tony swore it winked at him. Finally, he whispered, lifting his mug, a sidekick who really gets me. 6th, Wonder Woman versus online shopping. Diana Prince, warrior princess of the Misira, defender of truth, stood not on a battlefield, but in front of her laptop. The glowing screen illuminated her face as she scrolled through endless pages of online shopping deals. Her lasso of truth lay coiled beside her, unused, while her golden tiara tilted slightly forward as if it, too, were weary of this new kind of war. Buy one, get one free, she muttered under her breath, clicking furiously. Surely the gods must have blessed this discount. Her credit card had already been through 3 marathon battles in the past week. Shoes she didn't need, a coffee maker shaped like an owl, and enough scented candles to light up all of the Misira. Each package arrived faster than she could remember ordering it. The doorbell rang. Diana froze, then sighed. Another delivery. She opened the door to find the delivery man balancing a tower of boxes taller than himself. Miss Prince, another shipment. Her cheeks flushed crimson. I don't recall ordering all of this. The lasso of truth, gleaming on the table, shimmered in silent judgment. She swallowed, grabbed it, and looped it around her wrist. Fine, I admit it, I might have ordered a few things. The lasso glowed. All right, maybe 30 things. The glow brightened. 70 to happy now? She groaned, tossing the lasso aside. Boxes filled her apartment, stacked against walls, blocking the windows. She tried to maneuver through them like navigating a maze. In the chaos, she tripped over a pair of gladiator sandals she hadn't even unwrapped. Great hero, she shouted, rubbing her shin. Even my own purchases conspire against me. Her phone buzzed. A new notification. Flash sale. 90% off if you buy in the next 10 minutes. Her warrior instinct surged. She lunged for the laptop, fingers poised like arrows ready to fly. But then Pepper Potts' number flashed across her screen. Diana hesitated, sighed, and answered, Diana, it's Pepper. Tony's drowning in coffee cups again. We need your help. Diana looked at the fortress of cardboard around her. Her eyes narrowed. I might be slightly occupied. Occupied? Pepper pressed. Diana glanced at the glowing laptop, the flashing timer counting down to the sale's end. Her palms itched with the urge to click. Finally, she confessed, I am at war with online shopping. Pepper was silent for a moment, then she chuckled. Welcome to the modern world, Wonder Woman. Diana ended the call, determination blazing in her eyes. She slammed the laptop shut with a mighty thud. Enough, no more. The room fell silent. She breathed in deeply, victorious. Then the doorbell rang again. Another delivery. She stared at the door, fists clenched. Her warrior pride crumbled as she whispered, all right, maybe just one last package. Thanks for watching this weekly episode of Superheroes Everyday Struggles. If you laughed, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more hilarious parodies every week. Because in this universe, heroes may be super, but life is always sillier. See you in the next parody adventure.